He's Mike Mayock. He's a very good analyst. I don't know if he's a great analyst. He's a very good one from the NFL Network. Hi, Mike.
Dan, how you doing, man?
What are the Saints doing with Drew Brees by saying that?
I hope we're just blowing it out of proportion because the reality is he's a great quarterback, and I think everybody knows that, and I don't think anybody's fooling anybody. And like you just suggested, all this should happen behind closed doors, and there should be no comments from either party other than, hey, we're going to try and get this thing done because, A, I love New Orleans if you're Drew, and B, we think he's a great quarterback if you're the Saints management. I don't get the whole thing.
The Redskins appear to be all in on Robert Griffin III. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
The Redskins?
Yeah.
I think the Redskins need to be all in on a franchise quarterback regardless of who it is. And I do believe that Griffin is special. I got to spend some time with him at the Combine, had never met him before. I thought the interview he did with Mariucci was phenomenal as far as his ability from a football perspective to recall and regurgitate and get up on the board and do what he did. So I think Luck and Griffin are really special, and I think everybody's so enamored of talking to those two. I'm more intrigued by where's Tannehill go? Is he going to go to Washington?
He's a top 10 talent. I don't know if he's a top 10 pick.
But look at a year ago.
Well, people panicked on that, Mike. I said people acted like fools there with, we got to grab a quarterback here. You don't have to unless you're completely sold on your quarterback.
But here's the deal, Dan, and you know it and I know it. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, the rest of it pretty much doesn't matter. And you can say they panicked, or you can say that both those teams, and we're talking about Minnesota and Tennessee, both those teams secured a future franchise quarterback.
But they don't know that they're a future franchise quarterback. And if you said to Jacksonville, would you like to do it over again? What do you think Jacksonville would say?
What would Jacksonville say? They got the same general manager, so they'd say, no, we wouldn't like to do it over again. We believe in our guy.
Would you do it over again if you were Jacksonville?
Look, I had Blaine Gabbert as the top quarterback.
No.
I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say, hey, do I think he's got as much ability as anybody in that draft last year? Yes, I do. The question is, does he have the work ethic and toughness to play that position? And I think the jury's out on that. And I'm not going to bash the kid because he didn't have – I mean, you could have played wide receiver for them last year.
I just think that we start to get goofy when it comes to quarterbacks. Now, I'm a Robert Griffin III fan. I've been so for a while. I think the personality with the talent, I think he's a special kid.
Yep.
I think Luck sort of got overshadowed with his performance at the Combine. I think, Luck may have gotten out-personalitied with Robert Griffin III, but his numbers were right up there with Cam Newton at the Combine.
Yeah, and the point I wanted to make, and it kind of gets overlooked. I mean, my whole thing is, and I say it 1,000 times, fast guys run fast, slow guys run slow. It's not a story until the opposite happens. So RG3 running fast and jumping high, he's a freaking track guy. Of course he's gonna. And his personality's phenomenal. He lights up a room. I get all that, but I expected all that. The Luck thing, I also expected because I've seen him the last 2 years at the Manning Passing Academy. This guy's a freak also, but people have this perception, he's the next Peyton Manning, he's a pocket quarterback. Are you kidding me? I mean, this kid ran fast, he jumped high, his numbers were comparable to Cam Newton, and for some reason, we don't want to give him credit for being a freakish athlete, which he is.
Yeah, I think that he quietly went about his work. We're talking to Mike Mayock from the NFL Network, back from the Combine. I don't know where you stand with running backs. That it almost seems like a running back is more of a risk now than a quarterback is in the first round. What do you think?
I do. And if you look at the history, for some reason this has just been seared into my memory banks, but I mean, if you look at the first-round running backs back to Adrian Peterson in 2007 when he was the 7th pick, since then, I don't think you can justify a top 10 pick at running back. And, McFadden went number 4 the next year, and he's got great talent, but he can't stay healthy. C.J. Spiller went number 9. There's no way. And then when you start to look at, for instance, in the 2008 class, and Matt Forte and Ray Rice in the second round, Jamal Charles in the third. How about LaShawn McCoy in the second round? So all those things kind of reverberate in my mind, and you better be able to go to your owner and say, listen, this is the next Adrian Peterson. If you think you're going to take a running back in the top 10, and there's so many really good running backs in the second, third, and even fourth rounds that I think you're taking a huge chance if you're going to take a guy high at running back.
The Manning topic in Indy, you had it at the Super Bowl. Now you go back for the Combine. The likely landing spot for him, assuming he's going to get medical clearance, is where?
I don't think he knows. How the heck am I going to know?
Well, that's your job. You're supposed to.
No. You see, here's the difference. I'm not anywhere near as intrigued about Robert Griffin, Andrew Luck, and Peyton Manning as the rest of the world. Because they're three great talents. If Peyton's healthy, he's going to play quarterback somewhere, and those other two are going to go 1-2.
Yeah, but it affects the draft. Let's say that Peyton can play.
Yeah.
Okay, if Miami turns down Flynn, what's that say about Flynn? That they want to go in for Peyton Manning. What about the Jets with Mark Sanchez? Do you take Peyton Manning for 3 years? The Redskins, given the opportunity, Robert Griffin or Peyton Manning. What about Seattle? What about San Francisco? There's a lot of drama attached to Manning, and it affects the draft.
I know it does, but until it happens, it doesn't. I got 327 players I got to know at the Combine.
But nobody will affect the draft more than Peyton Manning will.
And me say, you just gave the logicals. 4 Cleveland, 6 Washington, 8 Miami, 12 Seattle, Arizona at 13, Denver at 25, at Philadelphia. You can throw all those out there. And the way I look at this thing with Peyton Manning is this. If he gets medical clearance and if he can play anywhere near like Peyton Manning played 2 years ago, he's going to upgrade 90% of the quarterback situations in this league, right?
Yep.
And if you're a team that you think is on the verge of playoff/Super Bowl, that's where he should go.
Well, he's got to go to a team that can win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
This is about winning championships.
He's got a couple years left, and if he can play at a high level, he can push somebody over the top.
I don't know why I'm yelling at you, Mike. I didn't mean to.
I'm happy I got you going. Usually it goes the other way.
No, I get fired up about this.
I like it.
Yeah. But I've been drinking my Starbucks here, so I'm ready to go. I could run a 40 in about 5.84.
I think what you just called for is a match race with you and Eisen.
With Eisen?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd own him.
I had him 6.03 the other day, so if you go 5.84, you whip him.
I just had knee surgery, and I could take him. Okay?
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it was not wind-aided. It was just hot air aided with Eisen in India at that Combine.
I like it.
Yeah.
The trash-talking hosts. This is good. We could probably put something together, and everybody makes a lot of money.
Mike, I took down Jerome Bettis at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He had just retired, and we ran, and he got dusted off by me. So
that's impressive.
And you know what? Tony Dungy and Mike Holmgren were there to witness it. So, even the legendary Bob Costas was there. So
did you play a sport in high school?
No, I was sports in high school.
What did you play?
The older I get, the better I was, Mike. Mike, just read my Wikipedia. All right, come on. I did my homework on you. I know you played, defensive back at Boston College, and you played for the Giants for a year or two.
That's about all you got.
Yeah. Okay.
That's about all you got.
Yeah. All right. Just saying. I did my homework on you.
Oh, I got my homework on you, pal.
I'm an athlete. Good to visit with you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mike Mayock, NFL Network. NFL Network, lead draft analyst and analyst on the NFL's Thursday night football games. Mike Mayock.